What shall I do?
What will you do? Is this a question? Show that you know the poem and remind them what a poem it is. Well, you know what you must do. Go. Confront the problem. Fight. Win. And call me when you get back, darling. I enjoy our visits.
Welcome to the Poetry Dojo,
where we learn to know our poems.
and learn to wield them to fight and win.
Today we are considering The Fish by Elizabeth Bishop.
Elizabeth Bishop was born in 1911 and lived until 1979. She graduated from Vassar College in Poughkeepsie, New York in 1934. Her father died within her first year, and her mother
Had a nervous breakdown when Elizabeth was 5 and went into an asylum.
Nevertheless, as opposed to one might expect under these circumstances, that she was sort of like little orphan Annie, but the reality is she was more like Batman. She was independently wealthy and got to travel the world and live all over the place. She published a number of poems. Her first poem was, I think, North and South.
I think that was a novel, wasn't it?
That was also a novel, but, her North and South was a collection of poetry.
But it was a book. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, book of poetry. Yeah. She got the Pulitzer Prize for it, I believe, in 1956. The National Book Award in 1970 for another collection of poems. She taught at Harvard for 7 years and was not only received award from the Academy of American Poets, but became the chancellor of that society from 1966, or a chancellor from 1966 to 1979.
She was also the Poet Laureate of the United States from 1954 to 1955, I believe, and was renowned for her objective and detached style. She didn't believe in putting a lot of personal dirty laundry into her poems. In fact, one of her friends she rather rebuked for using letters from his ex-wife in a work of art. And she said, you didn't have permission to do that. Art is not worth breaking the confidence. So she kept a certain amount of distance between herself and her work, which I think is a little bit fortunate for us, because I think there are some aspects of her life that I don't really want to hear about.
Well, she had an excellent eye and was able to give very clear, visceral descriptions of the world about her. And the poem we're considering today, The Fish, is one of those. A powerful and a beautiful poem in its clear presentation of its subject.
The Fish by Elizabeth Bishop. I caught a tremendous fish and held him beside the boat, half out of the water, with my hook fast in a corner of his mouth. He didn't fight. He hadn't fought at all. He hung, a grunting weight, battered and venerable and homely. Here and there his brown skin hung in strips, like ancient wallpaper, and its pattern of darker brown was like wallpaper, shapes like full-blown roses, stained and lost through age. He was speckled with barnacles, fine rosettes of lime, and infested with tiny white sea lice, and underneath 2 or 3 rags of green weed hung down. While his gills were breathing in the terrible oxygen, the frightening gills, fresh and crisp with blood that can cut so badly, I thought of the coarse white flesh packed in like feathers, the big bones and the little bones, the dramatic reds and blacks of his shiny entrails, and the pink swim bladder, like a big peony. I looked into his eyes, which were far larger than mine, but shallower, and yellowed, the irises backed and packed with tarnished tinfoil, seen through the lenses of old scratched isinglass. They shifted a little, but not to return my stare. It was more like the tipping of an object toward the light. I admired his sullen face, the mechanism of his jaw, and then I saw that from his lower lip, if you could call it a lip, grim, wet, and weapon-like hung 5 old pieces of fish line, or 4, and a wire leader with the swivel still attached, with all their 5 big hooks grown firmly in his mouth. A green line frayed at the end where he broke it, 2 heavier lines, and a fine black thread still crimped from the strain and snap when it broke, and he got away. Like medals, with their ribbons frayed and wavering, a 5-haired beard of wisdom trailing from his aching jaw. I stared, and victory filled up the little rented boat. From the pool of bilge where oil had spread a rainbow around the rusted engine to the bailer rusted orange, the sun-cracked thwarts, the oarlocks on their strings, the gunnels, until everything was rainbow, rainbow, rainbow. And I let the fish go.
This has such great imagery.
It does.
It's
so rich.
It's very rich. Simply from a mechanistic standpoint, you can say you can read this and could recreate the scene.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had that skill of language to be able to so clearly convey something.
There's such a sense of reverence and respect for this beast that has somewhat unjustly been defeated, it seems. The last line tells us more about the character of the speaker than anything that came before it, that there's a sense of respect for the game of fishing, respect for the animal.
This is not just a catch and release situation. She sits there, she talks about the meat, the tissue, the food that would actually be eaten, pulling the bones and the entrails, the whole cleaning process. She caught this fish with the intent of eating this fish.
She has it dead to rights, but this creature demands such respect.
It has won 5 battles for its life, and she considered that enough.
Mm-hmm. It's almost as though she has meat to eat we know not of.
Yes.
There's something more satisfying than actually eating the fish.
Victory filled up the boat, but whose victory? Who had won, at least for 5 battles? He had. And she respected that and let the fish go.
Yeah. It's not quite the one that got away. It's not quite just a fish tale.
Yeah.
It's a story of give and take.
Of sometimes deciding that this one deserves to go back.
Makes you want to take up fishing. Not quite. It
sounds
a bit of a cold, wet business.
It does. And I appreciate the rusted bailer, the little rusted bucket, and the rainbow of oil. Almost felt like a different angle on fishing on a certain river.
Yeah. Thank you for tuning in. This has been a Diecast Media Group production. Please recommend us to friends, family, relations, but not your competitors or fellow fishermen. Feel free to email us with questions at poetrydojo@diecastmediagroup.com, and tune in next time for another exciting episode and another fine poem.